Welcome everyone to our webinar titled Risk Management in Automotive Development. My name is Peter Haller. I'm going to be your presenter and host today. This is our agenda. So first I'm going to briefly introduce our company Incuding Software, then going right to our topic for today, the automotive system reliability and safety, and then about risk management in the automotive development in general, and then introduce you to risk management lifecycle. And at the end, we're going to have a short live demonstration session in which I'm going to show you and present you the codeBeamer capabilities handling risks. So this is a webinar information for today, the structure of our webinar. After the presentation and the live demo, you will get a chance to ask all your questions during the question and answer session. And please note that the recording of today's webinar will be available on our website soon after the session. When you are visiting our webinars and events page, please make sure to take a look at our upcoming events and feel free to sign up for any of our upcoming webinars and workshops. And here I also would like to invite you to our upcoming workshop, which will be on the 18th of June here in Stuttgart. So moving on, a few words about our company, Incuding Software. The company was founded in 1998 and headquartered in Stuttgart, Germany. We have an office in Silicon Valley in the USA and have partners in Korea and Taiwan. And we are the sole providers and developers of codeBeamer ALM solution, which is a fully integrated and complete application lifecycle management solution. Incuding also provides consulting and services from Germany with a mission to help our clients to manage the complexity of their elaborate product and application development processes. In the slide you can see that we are serving customers for various industries such as like the high technology, defense, finance, medical, or even other industries. And as we are now focusing today on the automotive industry, it's important to mention that we are affiliated with the Daimler, Ferrari, Continental, and Sin. And also, codeBeamer is a very scalable tool, so we have installations at our customers starting from pretty small teams and a few teams, all the way up to our greatest customer with the Lufthansa Systems, where we have more than 5,000 users. And this is our topic, the risk management in the automotive development. And here at this point I would like to start with some research information and some facts from the US market. So according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, in 2013 the automotive industry recalled close to a third more vehicles in the US than it sold. Recalls gained by 25% during 2013, which is the industry's highest rate since 2004, and said more than twice as many vehicles were recalled in 2014 than the previous record of the 30.8 million in 2004. And this increasing complexity throughout the automotive industry is resulting in increased efforts to develop safety compliance systems as well. As a consequence of this, the international standard ISO 26262 was published in June 2009 and has since gained traction in the automotive industry. Accordingly, specifically to the German law, car producers are generally liable for damage to a person caused by the malfunction of their product. If the malfunction could not have been detected by the technical state of art represented by the ISO 26262 standard, the liability is excluded. This standard is a common standard to measure how safe a system will be in the service and is used by more and more manufacturers and developers in the automotive industry. And why is it so beneficial to our customers to risk management in their automotive development? Is that because the risk management is a very important part, essential part of the ISO 26262 template, as well as the automotive development in general. And this is easiest to understand why, because it's simply because catching risks early costs you less in the end. So just imagine the case, if you catch a potential problem early in the design or planning phase, you can prepare for it, you can simply adjust the design of the product accordingly. And yeah, okay, a few members of your development team may need to work a few more hours on it, but that solves the problem and solves the issue entirely. So, however, if you only realize a serious issue after the product have been released, you will have to issue a recall, potentially costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars. What's more, managing your risks could also help you to develop your product faster, in better quality, and resulting in a product that is safer and more reliable. And just to summarize these points that I have listed, the risk management in your automotive development will help you to avoid the expensive recall campaigns, also help you to shorten time to market, increase your product quality, and ensure reliability and safety. And if that wasn't enough, certain regulations on both in the US and in the European Union require to ensure adequate risk management processes. Without this, your product can be put on the market. And complying with such standards like the ISO 26262 and the IEC 61508 standards is greatly facilitated by the use of smart tools that offer features supporting processes, collaboration, release, and knowledge management. codeBeamer is an adaptable and configurable enterprise application lifecycle management platform that coordinates and manages all activities and artifacts associated with developing software as part of an embedded product or as a standalone application. And just a few words about the risk management lifecycle. So the standard titled the Road Vehicles and Functional Safety is the first comprehensive regulation that governs the requirements of safety-related systems in road vehicles, whether they are electrical, electronic, or software elements. It addresses the risks caused by the possible malfunctioning of electronic safety systems. Consequently, as mentioned before, risk management is a huge part of ISO 26262 standard. And so, how does one get started with the risk management? To help you to better understand the process, here's a quick rundown of what risk management is all about. First, you will have to identify all the potential risks and analyze them to find out more about the probability of exposure, the controllability, and the severity. The estimation of this risk, based on a combination of the probability of exposure, the possible controllability by a driver, and the possible outcomes severity if a critical event occurs. And then you will have to investigate your options to reduce and possibly mitigate these risks. Since you can never completely remove all your risks, you will have to determine an acceptable level of risks and make sure you reduce your overall risk level below this acceptable level. Last, to ensure the compliance with standards and regulations, you will have to be able to document and report on your risk management processing and also on your mitigation actions. And therefore, in these processes, to all of these steps, the codeBeamer is going to be a great help because we have elaborated functionalities, so you can run and generate reports, documents, also visualize all your risk in the risk matrix diagram in codeBeamer. So right now, this is time for a live demonstration, and let's just start with that. And here we are in our browser. So as you can see, the codeBeamer is a 100% browser-based system, and it can be used in Chrome, Firefox, and Internet Explorer as well. And right now on the left hand side, you see I can create certain categories which I can visualize all my projects. So whenever I would like to see all my demonstration projects, I can just click on the demonstration category and those will be seen, and only those projects that I have access to. Right now, therefore for today, I created a demo project called the risk in the automotive development, which is based on our FMEA template. And in this live demonstration, I'm going to show you how you can use our FMEA template for compliance to any standards like the ISO 26262 standard, And here I will also provide you the traceability with our traceability matrix, and I will go through the entire life cycle. So I will create a new requirement which connected to the automotive industry, and I will define certain risks and how I will manage these risks accordingly. So what you can see here, this is our introductory wiki page of the project, where you can browse among this content. Here you can see various description, how you can specify the ground rules in this project, and how you can manage all your actions in the FMEA template. But now I'm gonna go to my trackers, where I have requirements and failure modes, so-called risks here in this project. I show you the configuration diagram here, how are these issues are connected to each other. So as you can see, we also have a built-in test management. Once I go to the right, I see this is my requirements and they are connected to the failure modes as well. This is a simple UML visualization chart just to show you the connections in your database. Okay, right now I'm going to go back. I'm going to my requirements. And here you see this is our document view of our requirements. On the left hand side, I expand the view and I will be able to see all my requirements in a hierarchical structure. Here you see our major and parent requirement is a vehicle electrical system, and under that, just as a folder, we see a category which is the front right lamp, and to that we created and derived certain requirements such as the power supply, light bulb, socket, and the wiring. And later on, I'm going to define all the possible failure modes to all these requirements, and I will focus on the power supply specifically. Right now, in the middle area of this interface is the main functionality of the document view, so you can see exactly the description of each of your requirements. You can easily rate these requirements, such as this is an Amazon-like rating functionality. Here you can easily add comments as well, and by clicking on this plus button, you can easily derive certain work items from this requirement, and the system will store the relations accordingly. So right now I'm gonna work on the front right lamp requirement. Therefore I'm gonna go into its detail view, and I see right now I have certain set of properties here which can be defined, which are defined in this template, but you can also set up your own template and all properties as well. And I see actually right now that here are the connected risk. For example, this is the front right lamp risk requirement, and this is the connected risk. And once I scroll down, I also see the details. So like I can see the comments and attachments right now here, which is an attachment as a picture. I can go to the children requirements, and it will be listed all the wiring, socket, light bulb, and the power supply requirements, and all the references, for example, that the failure mode, the risk is connected to this specific requirement. Right now, I'm gonna go to my failure modes, and to the failure mode on the left hand side we see a pretty similar hierarchical view of my failure modes, so-called risk. And for the power supply, which I will be focused on today, currently have two different risks. One is the power supply is missing, and the other one is the power supply is exhausted. And here I have some description. I can go into a detailed view, see how they look like. I'm gonna click on the power supply is missing risk. I'm gonna go into a detailed view, and I see from up to down, I see the connected requirement, which is the battery right now, the failure effect, and also the severity value, the failure cause, which the battery is removed unnoticed. In this case, I set up an occurrence value, and also you can see the controls and the controllability value. And based on these values above, based on these three values, the controllability, the occurrence, and the severity, we calculate in the system the risk priority number, and based on this number, all these failure modes will be assigned to the right area of your risk matrix diagram, but only if they are in the status actions taken or actions planned, because also all these risk and failure modes have their workflows on which through you can manage the progress. Just to show you, I'm going to go into the customize, go to the state transitions. This is how the workflow looks like for our risks here in the system. So whenever we create a new risk, this will be in the status new. Then we have to verify that, and we have to go also have to plan all the actions, and then we have to take these actions, and then we have to set it to done. So this is how you can manage and enforce traceability and the work steps in the system. Right now, I'm going back to my failure modes, and you see actually we only have those two risks in the actions taken stage. All the other ones are in the verified stage, so these are not intended to be seen in the risk matrix diagram. I'm going to go to my risk matrix diagram, to the traceability. I scroll down a little bit, and I see this is our before mitigation matrix, and as expected, we see only two risks here. And once we click on this, we'll see this is a requirement, and this is the power supply is missing, and the other one is the power supply is exhausted. And for those, we also see the after mitigation matrix, and based on the new values defined after the actions planned and mitigated, based on those values, those gonna be assigned to the other part of the risk matrix diagram. And here I also mentioned you can customize it as you wish. So you can set up your own scale and your own and your all areas here, which are the accessible risk level for your organization as well. So now let's go back to my failure modes, and once I have planned my actions for my power supply risk, I have the power supply is missing and exhausted, and I just realized that I should also put another risk, because the power supply can also be damaged. So therefore I'm going to right click on the parent risk, and I will add a new child risk, which name is going to be the power supply is damaged. All right. It's been ordered in the hierarchy correctly. As you can see, this is the child risk of the power supply. I'm going to go into a detail view, and I'm going to add all the necessary information. I scroll up a bit. I see this is our requirement here. I will attach the right requirement, which is the power supply in this case. I will add my failure effect, which is the front right lamp is dysfunctioning. All right. I'm going to add the severity value, let's say 3, a failure cause. And here at this point we can have various failure causes, so I'm going to add the list. The first is the battery, acid leaks from the battery. And the other one is the battery is mechanically damaged during an accident. All right, and I have to set up a occurrence value. And what are the controls here? So like currently no controls available, so the driver will have to detect a weak or missing electricity in the vehicle. And I write no controls currently driver will detect weak or electricity. Alright. And I also add the controllability value, which will be in this case a 7. And here you see this is the RPN risk prior to number value. I'm gonna click on save now. And this risk prior to number have been calculated and accumulated as a multiplication of the controllability, occurrence, and the severity values. And based on this number, this is gonna be assigned as a new risk in our risk matrix diagram. For that, I'm gonna verify this risk now, and I also would like to plan the actions. So therefore, I'm gonna go again to the edit. I'm gonna plan my actions as a list again. So like I would like to build a battery voltage sensor and build a secondary battery with automatic switching. And based on these planned actions, I can derive a new requirements from this risk. Build a battery sensor and build a secondary switching. Alright, I click on save, and I will also add the new values after the mitigation is taken. Let's say 344, and I will also assign it to a responsible person in our organization, which will be my colleague Mylan. I'm gonna click on set, save. I will plan my actions. Alright, and now I would like to go to my requirement and also set up the connection here. I will add my newly defined risk as a connected and related risk to this specific requirement. I'm gonna click on set and click on save. And once I go back to my risk matrix diagram, click on the traceability, scroll down, we see this is our newly created risk here. This is a requirement power supply, and this is our power supply is damage risk. And this is also appears here in the after mitigation matrix as well accordingly. So this is one way how you can keep always on your top of your risk, whether they are in the acceptable level or not. But there are certain other ways to manage to provide the impact analysis as well. So whenever I go to my tracker items and especially to my failure modes, I'm gonna go to another risk. I'm gonna go into a detailed view, and here once I click on the relations, I will see this is my risk to failure mode highlighted, and you can see how this risk is connected to other requirements and items in the system. So this risk is dependent on the power supply requirement, as also connected to the battery requirement. And as you can see, the battery voltage sensor, which we previously defined as a action to take, is a requirement derived from this risk exactly. And once I scroll down, I can also see amongst the references here, which is a power supply, and I can go on the item level to the history itself, and I will see exactly right here in the first row the state transitions made. So from submit it goes directly to the actions planned. Then this is my profile. I run this take action state transition, and now in the state of actions taken right now. So this is how you can see the traceability on the item level to each of your items in the system. And also you can visualize the connections using our well-known Traceability Browser. Therefore, I'm going to go to a Traceability Browser. I'm going to go to my requirements, and I would like to see all the related failure modes to my requirements. And you see this is on the first column, we see all of our requirements. And this is our power supply requirements, which I have been talking much about recently. And you can see all the connected failure modes. And once I hover my cursor above this icon, this will see, you can see this is a relation type. And on the right hand side, you can also see the actual statuses of these risks. This view can also be exportable to Office. I'm going to click on the Excel export. I generated a document of it. And as you can see, this is how I export it. And once I click on the link from the Excel sheet, this will navigate me directly back to my item in the system. So this is also how we provide the traceability and the compliance for certain standards. But moving on, we also have the baselining functionality, which provides you a complete overview. So before the presentation today, before the webinar, I created a baseline number 1 called the original version, and these baselines are basically contained like behave as a snapshot of the entire project, so containing the configuration, all the content, and all the items and modifications in the system in the historical order. And for now, I would like to generate a new baseline called baseline number 2. And here, this is very important. I can add my electronic signature. And this is extremely useful for the safety critical industries. For now, click on OK. Ooh, my password is invalid. I'm gonna have to correct it. All right. And now I'm generating the baseline. As you can see, also shown here, this is signed by my profile. And now I would like to compare these baselines together to each other. So therefore, I'm going to pick the baseline number 1, then pick the baseline number 2, compare the selected baselines, and you will see this is a tabular overview, how many items has been modified and added. So like among the trackers and work items, you see I have modified the failure modes, and I added a new failure mode, power supply is damaged, and also I modified the power supply is exhausted, and I can also expand the view and see what modifications been made, and especially by who at what specific point of time. So this is how you can provide audit trails and traceability. And another way, you can easily use reports among certain projects. So therefore, I also have a pre-configured report here with the title of requirements and risks. And in this report, you can see certain tracker items such as the failure modes from this item with all the necessary information here. And scrolling down, all my failure modes are listed. And I also see my requirements from this demo project from the risk in automotive. And this is our power supply requirement here, and all the connected risks listed with the links. And also, as you can see here, this is another completely different project right now. This is our medical template, and from the medical template we have the architecture tracker items here listed, as well as the customer requirements. So this is how you can generate reports, and all these reports can be exported to Excel, CSV, or Word file as well. And then going back, and I would like to show you one last thing in this template right now. Among the failure modes, we also have the list view, and we have a specific template, the FMEA Worksheet view, which also provides you the compliance for these standards. So in this view, you can see the summary status and the connected requirements, as well as the severity and all the necessary values and properties related to your risk. And all this can be and all this can be exported to Excel, I'm gonna click on More, Export to Office, and I would like to use a simple Word export right now. Yeah, I'm downloading the document. And soon here you will be able to see our FMEA worksheet. Download it from the codeBeamer. Yeah, so this is a sheet and being exported. Once I scroll down, I see all the risk with all the necessary information included. So this is how you can export everything. But this was a Word export right now. I can also show you how it can be exported to Excel as well. So we are now arrived to the almost to the end of our presentation for today. And if you have any questions, you can type them in now. I also have one final question to you, which is, you would like to receive any further information on codeBeamer in the future? Yes, it's a simple question, yes or no. And based on that, we will send you specific information and newsletters as well. All right, thank you very much for your answers now. And I also would like to call your attention to our next webinar as well on the next Wednesday, called entitled Requirements Management in an Agile Environment. And also once again to our workshop, which will be on the next day, on the 18th of June, also in Stuttgart. So I hope we will see each other that time. And now, if you have any questions, it is time to ask. And even though we will have a post webinar recording on our website after the session, and later on, if you have questions, you can also send questions to our support, and we will try to answer them all. I'm gonna wait a few minutes till you type your questions. Yes, we have a question. So whether these templates are available? Yes, definitely. So you have to, by downloading our software codeBeamer from our website, you can start evaluating, and by default we have smart templates. And if you need specific templates, please contact our salespersons, so you can have the FMEA template as well as contacting by our sales team. Do you have any other questions right now? All right, I don't see any open questions, so I would like to thanks for your attention and participation today. And once again, I hope I will see you next week at our webinar and also our workshop. Bye bye.